Hi, it's Frank from Canadian Tropicals. This is an area on the east side of the house which is going to become the newest extension of the Australian garden. It's sloped and well draining, and I'm hoping that the warmth from the house will just give those plants a little bit extra heat that they need to survive the winter. So far on this side of the house, I've got a flying dragon citrus and a fuchsia, which have both benefited from being next to the house. So fingers crossed, but first I have to clear all this. So I finished clearing the brush on the side of the house. The previous owners were nice enough to plant rocks along the side of the house, and but could be a good thing for me. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to plant a couple of Banksias and see how they do protected against the house. So the two Banksias that I'm going to be planting today, one is Banksia serrata, and it will grow to be about anywhere from 10 to 40 feet tall, and it's hardy to zone 9. I'm hoping that against the wall of the house, with all this rock here, there's about a foot deep of rock here, so I'm hoping that acts as a good heat sink as well in the wintertime. Combined, I'm hoping that I can get this plant to survive in our zone 8 climate. The other one is a Banksia marginata. Now, it's a zone 8 plant, and I've also know for a fact that the UBC Botanical Garden had one of these growing outdoors to -12, and it was last year's -16 winter that did it in and killed it. So they actually, I think they had 5. 3 survived to the -12, and the other 2 were done in by -16. So I'm hoping that this particular one, once again, up against the house, under this huge heat sink of rock, will be able to survive even if we do get another -16 winter. So, but only one way to find out. It's my slogan. I try to kill them so you don't have to. I chose 2 plants that have nice lignotubers forming at the base. Let's see if we can get a close-up view here. So what that means is that even if the tops of these trees, or bush, well, yeah, they will become trees, even if the tops are killed off by a really cold winter, as long as I can protect that lignotuber, it will be able to regrow from the base. So, but fingers crossed it doesn't get that bad. So now this is not going to be a case of digging down through all the rocks, because I've removed several large boulders and there's still more large boulders underneath, which in order to access I have to clear an even larger area, and I'm not too worried about that. In the natural habitat, Banksias will grow in very rough terrain, sandy terrain. One of the benefits of this spot here is it's on a steep slope, so there'll be good drainage. Lots of soil between these rocks, so these Banksia roots, they can get in there and weave in and out of those rocks and get all the nutrients it needs with good drainage. It should be quite happy here, provided I can keep it warm. And as I take it out of its pot, you can just see just how fine the roots on a Banksia are. It doesn't have any of those big, thick roots. It's just lots and lots of fine hairs to dissolve nutrients. And importantly, I am not going to disturb any of those roots from the pot. I'm not going to break up the soil or anything like that. Protea in general do not like to have their roots disturbed. So I'm just going to take it straight from the pot, put it in the ground. It's not root bound, so it should have no problem spreading out throughout this area. And I've also thrown in a Kishu mandarin, which is also a zone 8 plant. So it's next to the flying dragon citrus, which is in fruit now. The Kishu mandarin is a zone 8 plant. Next to the house, it should do okay. And I'm watering each of these in well with some sulfur, nitrogen, iron, and seaweed mixture. These plants do not go dormant in the winter, so as long as it's warm enough, and right now, even though it's mid-September, it's still in the 20s. As long as it's warm enough, they will keep growing. So they also need the nutrients throughout the winter, just not as much. Also, I'm watering them in now because the surrounding soil was a little drier than the pots, and I don't want the surrounding soil to desiccate the plants as it absorbs that water from the pot or from the plant. Also, just a caveat, I cannot guarantee that these will not damage my house foundation. Everything that I have read says that Banksias are not invasive to house foundations. Eucalyptus are, so you don't see any eucalyptus planted here. But the Banksia they have shallow roots. They should be fine where they are. Regularly clean the perimeter drain, so they should not be a problem where they are. The serrata, Banksia serrata, it's a zone 9 plant, we're zone 8, but I've planted it next to the window. So should I need to wrap it in the winter, I'm hoping that the extra heat loss through the window will help keep that plant just that little bit warmer. Winter's coming, we'll find out soon enough.